Good afternoon, everyone. Is the mic on? Good afternoon. My name is Debbie Jeleno, and I'm the Director of Community Relations for the City of Bartlett, and we are glad that you all are here. This is the Mayor's first State of the City address. Last year, we were in this room, and he shared with you his first 100 days, so we're honored that this year we're doing a State of the City address. We would like to welcome everyone here. We have some elected officials in the audience we'd like to introduce. I see County Commissioner Mick Wright is back there. I see Mayor Parsons' wife, Becky. She's not elected, but she's a big part of our administration. And we have our Bartlett Alderman. Brad King is here. Robert Griffin. David Reeves. Monique Williams is here. And Kevin Quinn. Alderman Jack Young had to take his wife to a doctor's appointment today, so that's why he is not with us today. We also have the 2024 Bartlett Leadership Class with us today, so we're excited that they're here to see this. So at this time, I would like to introduce our mayor, Mayor David Parsons.
They tell me I need to hold a mic because I don't stay behind the podium. And there's a lot of places y'all could be today besides here. And I want to say thank you for investing your time today to be here. It means a lot to this administration. It means a lot to the board. It means a lot to this city. So thank you for taking time to come here today. And we will get started. We hit the ground running what we said to begin a new era. But tonight, I want to share a few thoughts about our work in 2023 to meet the needs and the priorities of this great community we live in. Right off the bat, we established a mission and a vision for this city, produced a citywide branding effort, revamped our website, developed a budget, managed the effects of a major storm. Major storm, many of you can tell me the date, the time, and the hour where you was at. June the 25th, 7:05, or whenever the time was. I myself was affected by it, couldn't even get off my street. Major trees was down on two ends. What makes Bartlett a great community? Neighbors went out and cleared the street. They took care of business, and I will say thank you to many of the neighbors that contributed their time, their chainsaws, and their efforts to clear a lot of those roads. As mayor, one of the things I asked was our Public Works Director, Matt Crenshaw. Matt, where you at, Matt? I see Jimbo. But I don't know where Matt is, but I said, how do you compare to what's just happened? How do you rate that? And so the only way I could kind of rationally come up with that idea is how much debris do you haul off? And believe it or not, we had Hurricane Elvis, whenever year that was. A lot of you remember that. This city hauled off somewhere around 40,000 cubic yards of debris. Then many of you can remember the ice storm from just, I think it was 2 years ago. And we hauled off about 82,000 cubic yards there, if I'm not mistaken. This event hauled off more than 180,000 cubic yards of debris, which is a whole lot of debris. And I want to say thank you to our Public Works Department, our Parks Department, that did a great job of trying to clear our streets. We also annexed property. We fixed sewer problems, identified the sewer problems, promoted growth, and all of this and much, much more occurred during the last year of office. One of the first bullet points I like to go over our budget. The budget's probably the biggest obstacle as a mayor coming in that you have to prepare within months after hitting the job. We prepared a budget, and I'm thankful for Bartlett has an experienced team, and we brought creativity this year, and we produced a really nice result. We've got a financial department that continues for year after year after year to be recognized as one of the best financial departments that's in the state of Tennessee. And tonight I'd like to thank our financial director of finance, Mr. Dick Phoebus. Where's Dick at? Here we go. Dick, thank you. However, with an experienced team We was able to, this past year, to give a 5% raise to our full-time employees. This is a 5% raise that was added on top of giving 4% raises the 2 previous years. There's a lot of inequity, we feel like, and we're trying to address these great people. Because our city is only as good as the employees we have out in the streets, taking care of you when you have a fire need, a police need, your trash need to be taken up, or just something as simple, keeping your water running and flush. And by the way, I want to say an attaboy to our John Horn and our engineering department. There's a lot of places around our town that have problems during the storm that we was able to maintain a good quality of water that you come used to out here without a hiccup. And I want to thank our engineering department for making sure that among all the problems that you had without power, at least you had good, clean running water and you was able to do the other things you do with water, such as flush your toilets. We gave a 33% for all of our part-time employees. Much of the time on the campaign trail, we heard a lot of things about people minimum wage, not being, a lot's been said about minimum wage. So in that increase, we was able to talk about our school crossing guards. Believe it or not, during the campaign trail, many of us out there heard about the school crossing guards. They're valuable. What they do is important to us. They make sure that you don't run over our kids when they go to school. And I want to say thank you to the crossing guards and what they do. We was able to raise their base pay from $12 to $15. And our top pay for a position is now $16.50. 16 out of the 25 guards got those type of raises. So thank you to our school crossing guards. We added personnel. Our IT computer support technician, we added another one of those. And anybody that's in business understands how important IT is, and we got a fine IT department, and that needs to be expanded. We was able to add someone else this past year. I'm thankful for that. Also, if our PSAP, we added a PSAP director who'll oversee the grant funding of the new PSAP center. I'll talk about it in just a minute. And this will, I believe, will put us at 21 dispatch people in our 911 dispatch office, and a director will put us at a total of 22. Hopefully we can expand that, and I'll talk about that in a minute, because if many of you drove by the police station, you see a lot of construction going on there. We'll talk about that in just a second. We finalized the LED project to improve energy savings and produce reoccurring revenues to pave our roads. The project is nearly complete on our LED project. We've experienced supply chains with some of the decorative fixtures in our park, but we hope to have that complete by March the 15th. And I'm glad to say, as I signed those utility bills, the savings that we had talked about appear to be the difference in our utility bill every month. So I'm thankful that I want to thank our CAO, Mr. Steve Sones, because he led the way negotiating that. And many don't realize, but he was on the front lines leading that, negotiating that, and that allowed other cities to follow the contract that this man worked hard on. So thank you, Steve. I assume all of you know what I'm talking about, but I don't know why I've been remiss that one of the things that we added in personnel, there was a personnel change at the CAO position. Is Steve stand to be recognized? What I like most about Steve is that when you talk about hard work and dedication and what some would say is basketball season, grind city, come by City Hall at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning and you see his vehicle here. I challenge you when everybody else is gone to come by here at 5:30 and you see Steve's vehicle here. Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, 365 days a year, this young man's working hard with all of our employees and all of our departments. And I just thank you. And that same spirit and that same grind as a mayor I have found in the past 12 months that is in the heartbeat of so many people that work for this great city. I'm going to share one story with you very briefly. The police department don't even know about this. While in church on Sunday, I had a young man come up to me. And he said, Mayor, he says, I had a very, I'm embarrassed to tell you this, but I got thrown in jail this past week. I said, oh, really? And I said, this is going to get interesting. And obviously he had got a speeding ticket. He had got a speeding ticket. Didn't show up in court. And they summoned the warrant for his arrest. And he was in jail. Distraught by the whole experience, probably the first time ever being put in jail. Didn't know what a bond was, couldn't spell a bond. All he knew, he was in jail on Friday evening, and they said he won't be out till Monday until he posts the bond. Not knowing what to do, not knowing where to go, not knowing what to say, not knowing the number of who's one of the bail bond companies? This 1-800 call a bail bond downtown. He didn't have that number there. And he said, I just want to tell you that the jailer walked back to my office and back to the jail, back to his jail cell, put the key in, turned the key, and opened the jail and says, you're free to go. He says, I don't quite understand. He says, no need to understand, your bail's been met. He said, who paid my bail? And he says, don't worry about it. Somebody paid your bail. Come to find about it, Chief, one of our police officers paid the bail for the young man. Does that not say something about the heart, the spirit of this city we call hometown? That makes me hometown proud. That it's not doing the job. It's about the heart, the vision, the care, service that our employees give and care about being in Bartlett. You know, that's something we can't put on the paycheck. But it's something that's real in this community. Because tonight when you go home, you won't hear a story like that. I'll leave it up to your imagination to be able to turn the TV on tonight and see what you find. You know, might buy the local TV stations. Could you not find some good news to mix in with that? Because we seem to hear the same story day after day after day after day. And if it wasn't for people like you and I involved in our community in making a difference, there would be absolutely no hope for this community. So thank you for all of the people that serve and do those things day to day. Opening the car door, picking a wrapper up off the ground, saying hello, and bringing a smile to Kroger saying thank you to the man that sacks your groceries. So, moving on, I kind of get sentimental sometimes, and you may not realize that, but we implemented some moderate fees to increase support of infrastructure problems in the Fletcher Creek Basin. When we talk about fixing the sewer problems, we've identified those problems. One of the issues was down there back behind Payless, what we call a bottleneck that was around the four-way area. We've identified that. We've hired engineering firms, and hopefully we'll have that project out on the streets to bid here in the next few months. We've put monitoring stations to try to get ahead of the Sewer Creek extension down by Fletcher there. Our engineering department has worked to find what we think is a solution, and we're taking our time and pausing to make sure we get that right. But knowing where we're going, knowing how we're going to do it, and we're working on the part of how to pay for it now, there's a plan in place. So, most importantly, to me, we finished the budget season with zero debt added to this city. And I think that deserves an applause. A few other things there. We started a new master plans for our park that we'll be finishing up here soon. This plan will guide our work in the parks development across the city. And another little point that I'm very proud of, in 2023, we experienced over $100 million in construction value added to this city. New home permits in 2023 doubled the new home permits in 2022. The barometer is headed in the right direction. We're moving forward, folks. Things are happening. And of course, you can't begin a new era. The city, in partnership with the University of Memphis, embarked on a year-long journey to produce a Bartlett Vision 2030. We had the previous administration had a vision that went to 2020, and he left it up to the new administration to identify the future going forward in 2023. We hopefully the planning process involved input from the department directors, community surveys, businesses and development stakeholders, and of course our aldermen. All of this was compiled into a long-term plan to promote public safety, economic development, financial stability to better position the city of Bartlett for our future. I'd like to say this is what you will see rolled out on the screen. It's what you'll see rolled out March 1st, this Friday. You see those tabs down there, it's very easy to maneuver in. Community engagement. If you just click on that button, this will come up on the screen. Click on any of those screens, but I'd like to point out that what we found out in this survey, that 94% of our residents said that Bartlett's a great place to live, and I'm glad to live here. If you want more detail on that, wait till Friday, and you can navigate through that and find a vast array of things that you may have questions on that you did not know, that's never been put out there. It's just another way that this administration and this board is trying to be more transparent to our community. Moving now to our long-term plan, because we're innovative, because we're bold, because we're not afraid to imagine the future that we want, and then we work hard to make it happen. This plan involves everything from installing community improvement program with our codes department, producing standardized paving plan for the city, finding solutions for Fletcher Creek Basin that I just mentioned. Let me back up just a second. This repaving streets, you don't think much about it until you get to be mayor. Or you come through a winter that we had. I listened to the radio a couple of weeks ago, and it was pothole city and every joke that they could make about how these potholes around here. Repaving streets is a big, big, big business. And for the first time, we hired a professional company that we put out for bid to let us know, is the dollars we're spending, are we spending the dollars number one, are we spending the appropriate amount of dollars? Are we maintaining status quo? And when we spend these dollars, are they spent in the right manner so that we can identify how long those dollars will last? And do we ever catch up? Do we ever move the needle forward? We've not been able to answer that question, but we're getting to get that data back, and we'll begin to have some workshops on that. But now we've identified a plan that we can look at the citizens and say, hey, this was a 100-point system. Your street was a 40 and this other street was 100, and we can say why we're doing by a third party, why we're doing, and where are we doing it at. And one of the most amazing things that I have learned in that whole process is that if you keep doing what you're doing the way we've been doing it, 10 years from now we'll be behind. And the way you've been doing it is probably backwards from the way it should be doing. And that's the reason, if you keep doing things the same way you've been doing it, you're going backwards. Harold Bird would tell you that insanity is keep doing the same thing over and over and over and expect the same results. So we're learning in that. And I'm very proud to have spent those dollars on that so that we can roll out and it will be on the site, and we'll be able to tell you why we're spending those dollars where we are. And Steve, I almost lost my place, but I just found it says surveying our employees to ensure Bartlett remains a great place to work, host an array of community events to foster engagement. You know, I'm going to brag on Dr. Stevens for just a minute. If I'm not mistaken, y'all was voted one of the best schools around as the best workplace. How important is your employees? It's all about your success is in the hands of your employees. And I want to recognize the great work that our school system is doing. And thank you, Dr. Stevens, for the good job that you do and the school board. Being a Bartlett High School graduate, I got to park here just a minute. Because many of you that went to Bartlett can't say the things I'm just fixing to say about Nicholas Blackwell or Bartlett High School. I think tonight, our girls played last night. How did they do? What was the score? 70-something to 50-something. Friday night, I was debating whether to go to the girls' game, which was district game, was Friday night. Shirley texted me, and at halftime it's 40-something to 18, I think, and I don't know what we ended up winning by that. But what a great school. Not only it's all about education, but it's a great place to play ball at. Right now, today, our boys are number one. It gets better. Guess who's still number one, too? Our girls. Those two areas are really good around here. But when you go to the state, guess who you'll find number one for the boys? Guess who you'll find number two? That's really something to be proud of. And it's what we call around here a succession plan of legacy. Success is being bred in Bartlett. Because guess what? Elmore Park, 7th grade, just won the state title back to back. Back to back. In the last 3 years, their record is 83-3. 83-3. Try to go anywhere in over a 3-year period win 83 games. That's one game a year, folks. Not only that, our wrestling team is done very well. Number one there. Let's talk about the bowling team. It's number one, too. We've become accustomed to being number one in so many areas. Thank you for the great job, the great education, which is first, the great graduation rates, and we're only working to make it better. Thank you, school board. Thank you, Dr. Stevens. That sounds weird, but that is right. The DR is in front, right? Okay, good. The MDs, I was working at MD's house one time. His wife set me real straight. She says, that's Dr. Ed, that's not Ed. So I don't want to make that mistake. Let's see. The partnership, so what I've did, I'm just going to pause for just a second here. So we create a master plan for our parks so that we know what the citizens want in their parks. Number one, we partner with the University of Memphis so that we could hear from our citizens, so that we'll know that what we're doing and where we're putting our dollars is in the areas that you want them, not where we think you want them. We should be finishing that survey up real soon. So when you see that survey, don't pass it over. Fill it out. People are paying attention to it. People are watching what we do, and we're going to put resources where the citizens want them, not what the status quo says. So those two surveys, and now we're beginning to survey our employees also, because we want to make sure that we keep our workplace vibrant, and real. This is a whole lot more that can be found in our city of Bartlett's long-term plan. They'll be able to see it for public. That dashboard, as I said, goes live March the 1st. This is a living and breathing plan that would change over time, but the community can follow us along the way, step by step. Some of the examples of what you'll see up there is how much the city recycles. That's been something that we've been asked a lot. You'll be able to go into that site and find out that we continually to have more recycling here. You can take a look at our safety. We'll have a safety section that you could go into that and you can navigate that. Maybe you're moving new into the area and you want to know how the community feels about living in Bartlett. You can also find that there too. As I said, you can find 94% of the residents describe this city that you live in as an excellent place and a good place to live. You can't begin any successful area without a plan and a driving force. Safety, certainly public safety, is and always will be an important priority in the city of Bartlett. Part of the reason that Bartlett is a great place to live is because of great fire and police services that we have. I'm proud to say that we're maintaining a level of police officers and firemen, and we're going to maintain those. I believe we're up to almost 150 policemen wake up every day, 7 days a week, and over 104 or 5 of our firemen work hard to make sure that when that 911 dispatch goes out, that we respond. It may not seem like much. We respond at the right place, with the right equipment, with the best men available that knows what they're doing and know how to do it, that you can rest, that you've been taken care of, and your problem will be addressed. I get comments every day, more of it seems like, on Public Works for picking up the debris. But right behind that is our fire department and our police department. I said this a minute ago about the police department. Let me throw an attaboy toward the fire department. Time and time and time again, there will be an email come across my desk of somebody's mama, daddy, daughter, son, or their spouse that picked that phone up and called 911. A call that I hope none of us ever have to make. But when they showed up, it was that attitude of service and that work ethic of excellence that they said not only did they address the issue, but it was done in such a manner that we felt like they cared. That they felt like we cared. And that goes across this city. That care makes the difference. I tell you one other thing real quick. When I was running for office, I heard a lot about the employment inequities. And I was out on the job one day. We was changing out a water meter. One of the supervisors showed up with a general labor that began to dig the hole. Our conversations began to say, hey, David, I can remember when I first come here. We worked 7 days a week putting water meters in. And he said, you know what? I'm going to retire here in a couple of years. And he says, you know what my concern is, David? And I says, no, tell me. You want more money? He says, no. Don't give the money to me. Give it to him. I said, what? He says, they're the ones that need it. And I drove home, And as I began to run through the gauntlet of running for public office, and I come home and turned that TV on, and I said, you know what? That's one thing that separates our community from the rest. It's when the people at top care enough about the guys at the bottom that they say, don't give it to me. Give it to them. Don't give it to me. Give it to them. I've had my day. And it's that type, I'm trying to say as the mayor for 14 months, that sometimes you can't always see that from the outside, but I see it on a day-to-day basis on the inside. So when you begin to talk, trash talk, the spirit and the heart of our employees, maybe you need to come over to my office and sit down and talk. Because I think you'll find out maybe they hadn't stopped at your house. The email last week was the little 7-year-old grandson is enamored by a yard waste truck. Something interesting, probably Brad King, seeing a truck trash being picked up, or just seeing something working. But they just said, Mayor, I just want to tell you thank you. Can you send a thank you to that driver of the yard waste truck for taking the time to talk to my 7-year-old grandson? That's what we're talking about, folks. So let me move over here real quick. And I'm sorry, John, you didn't ask for it, but you got it anyway. The Bartlett Police Department has done an amazing job keeping our community safe. The department has violent crime in the city of Bartlett 36% lower than other cities like our size across the nation. And while property crime continues to rise across the Mid-South, we saw nearly a 7% reduction in those type crimes last year in our hometown. The police department also procured a $2.8 million grant funding last year to ensure Bartlett remains one of the safest communities in the nation. We broke ground on an $11 million PSAP. You'll hear that word, PSAP, over and over again. What that stands for is Public Safety Answering Point. Well, hopefully we broke ground on it last summer. Last summer is due to open up this summer. Just so you know, we didn't go to the bond market. We didn't borrow the money. Your 911 dollars paid for that. And when we get through with it, next time you drive by the police station, look over there. That's $11 million that you pay in 911 fees. That's going to have the state-of-the-art PSAP dispatch office right here in Bartlett. So I'm thankful for those that procured that $2.8 million grant there. Our fire department is doing amazingly well. We've added a new fire inspector and lieutenant training. We've implemented health and fitness plan, added medics to the police department. The police department SWAT team now has medics, and we've invested significantly in other officer developmental training. We've also finalized a grant that will go before the board meeting tonight from County Commissioner Mick Wright to address the handful of concerns that we had at the aftermath of the storm. So we've got the check. I just need the board to say you'll take the money. And I think it has a pretty good chance of surviving that. But at this time, Mick, could you stand up and we'd say thank you for helping us with that? What are we going to do with that $200,000 that Mick so graciously allowed us and piloted to make sure we got that? We hope to enroll, hopefully in the next couple of months. One of the biggest things that we had with the storm last year is being able to communicate with our citizens. We couldn't do that because, believe it or not, nobody had power. One of the few times that almost the whole city was shut down with no power. And if you couldn't get internet service, you couldn't go in there and get on the computer and understand a lot of that. We've part of that money is going to pay for a 3-year program to what we found to be, we call it hyper reach. So, in fact, my phone went off. Did your phone go off about an hour ago about an Amber Alert? Okay, the system that does that will be able to do the very same thing and alert our citizens as to when there's a storm here And the system that we purchased, Hyperlink, will be able to allow us to go in polygon certain areas that hopefully we can use that to let you know when we're working on water lines or if there's down lines, if there's a concern for maybe just only concerns your subdivision, that we can do that. We're real anxious to get that rolled out. And not only did we procure the money to acquire Hyperlink, but in that we was able to buy some more jaws of life for the police department that was needed to be updated. If you noticed that many of you gave water and items to eat for our police officers standing out these intersections, I can remember officers having to stand at Yale and Kirby Whitten, and lines were backed up. We procured in that $200,000 2 portable full-way stop signs that we can put out there that can direct traffic 4 ways, and other things that we acquired also was some battery backups for some of our signal lights, like around the traffic, like around the railroad tracks. So moving back down to, again, thanking Mick for what he had done. I don't know, all of those things have a little catchy phrase, and ours is going to be called Connect Bartlett. So you'll see that in the upcoming months. Connect Bartlett. We believe this is going to be a communication game changer for us. Next is community events. Has been expressed an interest for seeing more community center events in Bartlett. Based on the information we received from the University of Memphis, the citizens overwhelmingly asked us for more festivals, more music, and more entertainment opportunities. This year, with the support of our alderman, we can offer more opportunities that line up with our community's desires. We can offer more opportunities that line up with our community desires. Over the course of the next year, you'll see numerous what we call pop-up events throughout the city. Most will occur in our 29 parks in this community. Examples may include food truck days, outdoor fitness classes, family-focused events in our neighborhood parks to get people out of their homes and experience why Bartlett is their hometown. We will also partner with the Bartlett Arts Council to host a ticketed charity event in June, and we'll have Arts by the Lake Festival, and we will feature everything there. Yeah, we have recently formed a special committee to help us support this ambition by looking and reminding everyone in Bartlett is a great place to be. The last thing, and I'm moving in to land the plane, is economic development. Growing Bartlett is a priority fueled by both desire to preserve what we love and a hunger to explore new possibilities. As I've said before, this community wants more fun, family-friendly entertainment options, and not only we're seeking to provide that internally with our team, but last year we partnered with Jones Hour to bring more retail options to this community, and we're happy with that relationship, and we're beginning to see fruition from that fruit and that seed sown. And many of you said during the campaign trail, we've got places such as where the old Piggly Wiggly that's been vacant for 18 years. Tonight, when you get out of here, drive over there, and if you don't see, it's been gutted and renovations going in there. Will the team with Jones Hour please stand up and say thank you, guys. Through their efforts, we've done a host of things throughout the committee. But instead of me telling you about what happened, I thought it'd be nice for you to hear firsthand from just a couple of things that we're talking about, that we are extremely excited to have come to Bartlett. The first, everyone knows about, but I'd like to introduce to you Mr. John Daniel, who's responsible for bringing Bluff City Pickleball to court to Bartlett, and his wife. John?
Beautiful wife, but also my business partner. In August of 2022, I was drenched in sweat. It's a hot Memphis day, and I was playing pickleball, which was cut short by the brutal Memphis summers. And I looked over at my friends that I played pickleball with, and I said, somebody's got to build a pickleball club with air conditioning so we can play indoors. And he looked at me and said, you should do it. That night when we were heading to dinner, I saw an old building in downtown Memphis that was abandoned, and it had a for sale, for lease sign on it. I said, hey, Les, there's a building. I think I'm going to lease it and put a pickleball club. She didn't say I was crazy. Well, to make a long story short, I started researching indoor pickleball clubs. And I called pickleball clubbers around the country and found out this is actually a viable business concept, that these things are popping up all over the country. We actually visited one in Boston, Kansas City, and Salt Lake City. I said, this is cool. Pickleball is the fastest growing participative sport in America. It's growing at 10% a year. At the time, I read an article in the New Yorker magazine called Can Pickleball Save America? Fascinating. But basically what the author's contention was, in areas where it's growing up, people were coming together, particularly during the pandemic, to socialize. Democrats and Republicans, black and white, old and young, to play this game that's social, easy to learn, and a lot of fun. Well, you got to know something about me. I spent 47 years as a banker. I loved my job, and I loved being a banker. But I decided when I retired that I was going to have something more meaningful and fun in my life. As you may know, I'm a heart transplant recipient, and Leslie is a breast cancer survivor. And we knew that whatever life we got, I think now that for 9 years somebody else's heart's in my chest. I don't call it a burden, but I call it a responsibility for us to do something meaningful with our life. So what would it be? At the time, I was doing a fellowship at Harvard University that was targeted at retired executives. That theory was that you got these people that spent 20 years working in business and were successful. What are they going to do with the last 20 years of their life, since the average lifespan is 86 to 88? And I learned about social enterprises. These are businesses where you use free enterprise system to build businesses that do good for the community. That's when we founded Bluff City Pickleball. Social, friendly, bring people together, improve health and well-being by getting people connected in a healthy and fun way. We started calling it Bluff City Pickleball because we wanted to be regional in scope. And we actually started looking at buildings with my good friend Daryl, who owned, say that? So when you're over 65, you can't think of any, you can't remember names. Daryl Cobbins, that's when you look at your wife and say, well, who is that guy again? We started looking at building. We even looked at Piggly Wiggly at one point. And you know what's interesting? As we visited places in Memphis, we actually had a commercial real estate guy that was showing us a building. This is a guy that he would get a commission if we leased that building and put a pickleball club. And I looked at him and said what I was doing, and he looked at me and he says, I wouldn't let my wife come here. And you know what the major issues for some neighborhoods in Memphis are. It's just not safe. Somebody said, you ought to go to Bartlett. Why should I go to Bartlett? The people are friendly. It's a great community. It's safe. And it's very business friendly. Serendipitously, I get a call from the Lightmans who knew we were doing this, that they had just closed their theater at the Melco Plaza. You know, theater business got hammered by the pandemic, particularly the discount theaters. So we visited, and our dream became a reality. For the last year, we've spent a significant amount of money investing in the club. You should see it. It's amazing. We're going to open in a couple of weeks with our first tournament on March 8th. We are a social business. It's a membership-based business model, so you join up as a member, and then you pay court fees like bowling lanes, only it's membership. We have amenities dependent on the level of membership. So you can join for as little as $100 a year to a little bit more and get special privileges, or you could just walk in and pay a fee and play with us. And oh, by the way, in the first couple of weeks of March, just come in. After March 11th through like the 22nd, just come in. You can play for free. You can tour the building. We'll give you a free water maybe. We'll give you instructions on how to play pickleball, except I'm not really good at it. We asked Tommy to do it. He's going to be one of our coaches. Listen, we're really excited to be a part of the mayor and his team. You know, when you start a business, it's not easy. You got permits and whatever. You all have been so supportive of us. We just going to be more excited, and I hope you'll share our excitement with the community and come join us in those 2 weeks in March. Thank you, Mayor.
The next venue is just as exciting, and it's been rumored for a long time. And we want to stop the rumors today and announce that a really exciting announcement of entertainment option that'll be coming to Bartlett very, very soon. And for that, at this time, I would like to invite Mr. Mason Jambo to the podium.
Ooh, Good evening, you guys. Hard to follow that. I mean, I have high cholesterol, but no heart transplant. So, I'm a partner and the managing partner of Laughlin Yard, Rail Garden, and Bounty on Broad downtown. I'd say probably 6 months ago, a guy called me and said, "Hey, there's a space out in Bartlett that I'd like you to look at. It could be feasible for one of your concepts." So I took a look, 7157. It's the old Bartlett nursery for those guys who know the space, and it's beautiful. I mean, it has a lot of the debris left from the nursery, but aesthetically, it's just stunning and huge trees. Feels very secluded, but really right in the middle of the city. So before I decided to sink any money into it, I said, well, let me call the guys at the city and see if it's something they even want or if it's viable. And, got in touch with Steve, who I'd never met, but coincidentally, his son goes to school and is a senior with my daughter at St. Benedict's and the mayor. And I got to tell you, same experience. They've been phenomenal to me, helped me kind of navigate, getting to know the space, getting to know the people in the city, what can be done out there and what can't. And I've been looking for a space. We've been looking for a space for a long time. I'm originally from New Orleans, if you couldn't tell by my name. And I say I'm from New Orleans, but I'm really not. I'm from a small town outside of New Orleans called Gretna. And, when we were looking for this space, I had a conversation with Steve, and I said, why I want to pick this space? Not only is it the site, but Bartlett reminds me of my hometown. It is a small independent city outside of the major city that has its own police and fire departments. It is very community-based, very family-based, and it just feels safe, and it feels like a great place to do business. So, we're extremely excited to get this thing kicked off. We have a long road ahead of us to get going. I'm hoping to have it open before next summer. But I got to tell you, I couldn't have fallen into a better opportunity and the opportunity to work with a better set of people on the project. So that's it. I'll give you updates as they come. Thank you very much.
Thank you. He didn't say it, but go back to the clip, Kevin, where Rumble, a ramble on the. Hold on, bear with us. We're getting there. I'm making it go all the way back.
Yeah, there you go.
Ramble.
Ramble on Summer is what we want to call it.
So it's going to be a great experience. It's going to be something that you can't, something that you won't have to drive out of this town to go do, but it'll be something that you've never been able to do in this town, and we're really, really, really excited about that. As we talk about Blue Oval, I was in Detroit about a month ago, and they're still saying that they're going to roll. It's a bad word around the Ford people. It's not F-150, it's the T3. It means everything to them. Just be around, they'll let you know real quick. But to say they're going to roll those puppies off the third quarter of next year. And as we sat up in Detroit talking with the staff up there, a sense of community. And one of the things that builds a strong community and they like is having, that you take for granted like you do the fire and police, is having a really good hospital in your community. I attended a West Tennessee Mayor's Association meeting last week, and it was addressing rural hospitals. And the number that was given to me, that Tennessee leads the nation in the closure of rural hospitals. And what we may take for granted, we're really blessed to have St. Francis in our community. St. Francis, there's been a lot of talk about name changing and closing and selling. Today, we just like to set the record straight, and we have the CEO, Sherwin Stewart, here from St. Francis, and I'd just like to give him the mic for and the opportunity. If you share with me some of the share with them some of the changes that you share with me in my office today. Ladies and gentlemen, the CEO of St. Francis Hospital.
Thank you so much, Mayor. I'm Dr. Sherwin Stewart, so I'll join that club that he talked about. I'm standing here and I'm super excited because I had a choice to come to Bartlett. And when I began to look at the information that was on the websites and began to talk to people about Bartlett, I realized that there was something special. I really realized it when I came over and I sat down in your office and we just talked about good old stuff. And Steve was just as kind and we had the conversations. And he said, well, listen, I've heard that they're talking about selling, or they were going to sell the hospital. We have set the record straight. We are not selling St. Francis Bartlett. It is not for sale. There are three things that I am going to bring to you and that I'm going to promise to you tonight. And that is that we are going to focus on clinical high reliability. That means when you come to St. Francis, you have a right, you have an expectation that you are going to receive clinical high performance. The second thing that I talked to my team about is growth. We talked about it in the mayor's office. I don't understand why labor and delivery was taken from the hospital. But I will tell you that it is on my mind that we are going to bring back women's health and women's services to St. Francis in Bartlett. I know that health care decisions are made by the women in the house. I know that. And so I know that we have to meet the needs and the expectations of the ladies and the families of Bartlett. The last thing I want to talk about is disciplined operations, which means we are going to do the right thing every time. We are going to be good stewards of what we have in the city of Bartlett, and we are going to return that to the citizens. So those three things, the mayor, I bring to the city. Again, I'm Sherwin Stewart. Feel free to stop by the hospital as a visitor, and if you are, I'll be glad to talk to you. Thank you for allowing me to be here.
And this is not on the program, Steve, and I'm aware of it. But there's an individual in the crowd that probably has, if not the largest investment, a part of the largest investment that's ever been made in our community. And he hates the microphone, but I'm going to embarrass the living stew out of him and ask him to come up here and just kind of give us an update on what we call Union Depot. Give us a progress report, Mr. Keith Grant.
That's what I get for showing up, huh? So it's been great to work with the city throughout the process at Union Depot. We've got a lot going on out there right now, as you've seen, a lot of infrastructure going in. We'll probably start vertical construction. You'll probably see starting to come out of the ground in the next 3 to 4 months. But the city's been great to work with throughout the process. We've been working with Bartlett. Our family's been working with Bartlett for 40-plus years, but this is definitely a much bigger venture here. And it's been great working with everyone from code enforcement to engineering to the mayor's office. We've even been working with the fire department on safety issues, and it's just a great environment to work in. And just to add to what the others said earlier, you don't always see this everywhere, but it's just a great place to work, and quite frankly, it's just a good group to serve here in Bartlett. We've always enjoyed our relationship with Bartlett over the years. So thank you, David.
Tonight, I've highlighted our work across several priority areas for this city. They will help keep Bartlett vibrant, thriving, and successful by creating a positive, long-term outcome for our people and create meaningful improvements to our city. Everything we're doing is by design to set Bartlett up for its future. Its future is bright, and to meet the needs of the citizens and to solidify those plans, this administration is also looking to expand its footprint by developing a northern industrial park to establish a successful addition and to augment our current industrial park along Brother Boulevard. To highlight that effort, I want to bring this meeting to close, and I'd like to display a video. But you know, I'd like to say thank you that we're only as good as the shoulders that we're standing on, and it's our responsibility to carry that. I'm just so thankful that Bartlett has been blessed with good leadership over the years, that the administrations prior to this one had the foresight to see the need of the future and have our own industrial development park, to see the need for us to have our own school system. And that's what we're trying to do, is to plant a seed for Bartlett's future. In that, we've worked very hard this year to try to take this annexation, and we're not through with that piece. What you see on the screen is approximately 300 acres, about 200 of them are buildable. What we're doing with this plan, what you see on the one side is Austin P. Highway, Highway 14, and on the left side is you see Singleton Parkway, which is a very close proximity to Highway 385. We've been asked by several people, and I want to thank the Chamber and all the players, Mr. Chris Triplett, that have come and have pushed us to this far so that we can see this become a reality. We was asked 2 or 3 weeks ago, we have people in interest that would like to see a video of where this is at, what it's all about, how does it fit in to Blue Oval. We produced this video, which next week people will begin, prospects will begin to see. This puts an area of workforce development, a place that development can go to work and stay inside our city limits for our future generations to come. I left out one of the things that I'll just say real briefly. We've worked hard to secure every grant we could find, from parks to public works to police to fire. We work hard to make sure that there's no money laying on the table anywhere that we don't gain access to, so that we can do that. Our future's in that high school. Our future is not only in the high school, it's in the middle school. And then their future is in the elementary school. I am very happy to say that I just saw the initiatives, Jason and David, that y'all are doing, and I'm very proud to say that our kids can get dual enrollment to TCAT there. That our kids in our high school begin to work on the very machines that in the beginning we was created to work on the biomedical industry. But guess what? A lot of that translates into what's happening out at the Ford plant. And we're very happy about that. And we hopefully here in the near future we can announce some workforce development areas in Bartlett so that our Bartlett kids will have the opportunity for a future that many of us didn't have. So we make the way better. Please look at the video.
Located on Bolin Hughes Road in northeastern Shelby County is the future site of Innovation Park. This approximately 270-acre lot will house 2 1 million square foot buildings, 4 600,000 square foot buildings, and 1 future substation site. Bartlett, with its central location, can attract employees from all over the region. Being able to draw from a labor force of over 600,000 people, Bartlett can provide them with a great place for their families to live and an excellent school system for their children. Bartlett's newly renovated and technologically updated high school provides a direct pathway to advanced manufacturing with programs in EV vehicles and mechatronics. These students learn the trade on CNC machines, lathes, welding machines, robotics, and 3D machines. Bartlett High School also boasts a post-secondary partnership with Southwest Tennessee Community College, Tennessee College of Applied Technology's Bartlett campus, and the University of Memphis. Bartlett has a robust medical device manufacturing base, contributing over $8.3 billion in gross regional product to the Shelby County economy. Ford's newest construction, Blue Oval City, whose campus is located on 3,600 acres and costing approximately $5.6 billion, is just a short drive with at least 2 possible routes, making it easy for the transportation and delivery of products and goods. Additionally, Federal Express World Hub is adjacent to the Memphis International Airport, which is the busiest cargo airport in North America. Bartlett, boasting an average household income of over $110,000 and being the 11th largest city in Tennessee, is on the move and projected to be the fastest growing city in Shelby County over the next 3 years. So we invite you to come thrive at Innovation Park and experience why Bartlett is hometown proud.
Well, we want to thank you all for coming tonight. As you can see, Bartlett is really moving forward into the new era, and we're so excited to have all these new partnerships and all the new things that are coming to Bartlett, so thank you. And one more thing, if you all want to stay, we have a board meeting at 6 o'clock. You're more than welcome to stay for that. Hopefully it'll be short. Thank you.